Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This week I have something pretty exciting, which I guess I say every week, but it's pretty exciting. This week we're going to be working on the SIRDAR Crochet Gingerbread Blanket. So this blanket was made to be a challenge by a UK brand named SIRDAR. And I guess they make these crochet-along blankets often, but this is the first time that I've heard of these or just this brand in general. The way this blanket works is it's 6 weeks of work. So they split it up into 6 weeks. They release on a weekly basis and you kind of just crochet along as the name implies. Patterns are available on their blog and also on their YouTube, and I'll try to link it if I can. I'll link it in the description box. I would really suggest going with the videos, especially if you're from the US, just because the UK terms can be a little bit confusing because they're different from the US terms, so it's a little bit easier. So without further ado, let's get into the video. I'm going to be making this a scrap project, meaning I'm going to use all the yarn that I have in my stash. I'm going to avoid getting new yarn, and I'm going to try to use as much of the yarn that I already have to kind of stash bust. Also, I'm going to be making it in a pastel color scheme, which I haven't seen anybody else do, and I'm really excited to do it that way. Most of my yarn is pastel just because that's what I gravitate toward. When I decorate for Christmas, I always have the same theme just because those are the ornaments that I have, and I don't really feel like buying more when I already have all of these. So I kind of just decorate the same every year, and I'm totally fine with that. And it is just coincidentally pastel gingerbread, which is another reason that I thought that this would be such a good project to start. I did finish week 1 and week 2 now. They were both pretty easy. I did almost run out of yarn while working on the jumpers, but thankfully I did make it through. I have the light blue. This is all that's left of the light blue. And then for the sage green, this is all that's left of it. So I got really close to running out of yarn, but thankfully I didn't. I finished the little gingerbread house middle section. I also finished the jumper panels. I did 2 in a light blue base and 2 in a sage green base. I'll also be laying out the whole piece so you can kind of get a vibe for how it's looking so far. I threw everything in a bucket. It's a little bit tangled, but it's fine. I have something that I'm really excited about that's kind of like keeping me wanting to work on this, because I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of starting to hit what is it, crochet block? No. So I figured out how to get out of it, but first let me show you what I have done. So I finished week 1, and this is what it looks like. It's the little gingerbread house. And week 2 was the little peppermint swirls. So the first peppermint swirl design that I did was white and purple, and then this is what they look like. The second color that I did was this pink with a darker pink look. The other one that I have, I started working on the border of it. Kind of wanted to incorporate the purple from this one with the swirl from this one. So this is the blue one that I did. So these are kind of all over the place because I'm on the 3rd week, which is when you start doing the borders of stuff. Ignore it, okay? So this is the green stripe, and it has the purple peppermint swirls on them, and is using the pink peppermint. The little Christmas lights around the edge of this, and I think that that's when you connect to everything else. So I do have to work on that, but now I want to deal with the lights. Everybody was having really negative reviews when that week came out, that it was just not for me. I didn't want to do it. The secret surprise that I've been really excited about for months, because I did get these a long time ago. I got these before Joann was even closing, so that tells you how long ago I got them. I saw these at the store and I thought they were so cool, and I just happened to be working on this at the same time that inspiration struck, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is gonna be perfect for my project, especially because I was already kind of freaking out because since it was a scrap project, I was running out of some of the yarn and I didn't want to buy new yarn, and this was the perfect loophole because yes, I am buying more yarn, but I don't have this yarn and it's a really cool effect, and I was able to convince myself. So since the next part of the project are light bulbs, I found glow in the dark yarn and it's in pastel colors. How perfect is that? Look, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm gonna make them in glow in the dark yarn, and then when I'm out in the sun it'll charge it, and then at night it'll glow. Isn't that so cool? I'm super excited. I'm so excited I can't even talk about it. I'm so excited. I literally need to start this blanket already because I need to see how it looks. I've never seen anybody use this stuff, and I've never even seen it in different colors. I've seen it in white, which I did grab a couple of these. I grabbed a couple of these to make like Oogie Boogie, which I haven't even done it yet because I've been so busy. But I did have a couple of these, and when I went to Joann's, they had them in colors, and the colors were just pastel. That's just how they were, and I thought it was so perfect. So I'm so excited to do it. Already never seen anybody make this blanket in a pastel color scheme, but on top of that, I've never seen anybody do glow in the dark yarn. I think that's so cool, and I'm so excited, and it's perfect because they're light. I need to stop yapping, and I need to start to crochet. I finished week 3 yesterday. Today I started week 4 finally, and week 4 is, from what I've heard, the hardest week of all of them. And I actually found that the videos had the least amount of detail in them for week 4. It tells you to refer back to the written pattern, which I haven't had to do at all this whole entire time. So this is the first time that I've had to refer to the written pattern. So I did the 2 rounds that are in the solid white, and then the 3rd round, which I'm about to start, is where you start incorporating the colors of the light bulbs. So I made the little bobbins here, and I realized that I only have 4 colors in the glow in the dark yarn, and I thought about adding the 5th color because there's 5 colors of the light bulbs in this orange, and this is just a regular acrylic yarn. Since I wanted all the colors to be glow in the dark and this orange is just regular acrylic, I tried to double strand and kind of do 2 with this white glow in the dark, but it ended up looking kind of funky, so I didn't like it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just use these 4. And since it's 20 light bulbs, it kind of works out because, so instead of doing 4 light bulbs in 5 colors, I'm doing 5 light bulbs in 4 colors. The pattern asks to do, I think it's at like 5 meters or something like that. I don't even know how much that is. I saw somebody say that if you do 40 chains and then 39 double crochets, that's how much yarn you need. So I decided to go with that method instead, just because I don't know how much 5 meters is. I don't know how much that is, and even if I did figure out the math for it, I think it'd be too much because my blanket is way smaller than everybody else's blanket, because I would just have way too much like left over but not enough to do something with. So I decided to go with this. If this isn't enough, then I can just add more. I'd rather just add more than have a bunch just wasted. But I really do think it will be enough because she said that there's 38 double crochets total. So not only in the swatch that I did to get this, I added that extra stitch since it was 39 instead of 38, but also all of the chain work. So it's enough. I did all of them already. I'm just showing you these because these are the ones I can hold. But I did them all. I weaved in most of my ends and I added the little strings onto it. I also tested the glow in the dark and it works pretty well. Two things I'll say about it is it's not as bright. It definitely does get brighter the more you leave it out. So I wonder if I leave it out all day, it'll be pretty bright, because I was leaving it out for like 10-15 minutes and it was pretty good. But it only lasts for like 5 minutes. So I don't know if I leave it out all day, it'll last all day and be very bright. I'm not too sure. I have to kind of experiment with that a little bit more. I think the camera doesn't catch the glowing in the dark effect as well. I'm trying to think if I should add it anywhere else. I really only added it there because they're lights, they're Christmas lights, so I thought it would be funny if they glow. But I was thinking for the little gingerbread house, maybe make a couple squares in the glow-in-the-dark colors and make them into the windows. That way it kind of looks like they turned the light on. So it's kind of a thought that I've been working through, but I don't know if I'll follow through with it. I haven't decorated the house, kind of setting that aside for a little bit and flipping into week 5, because week 4 was the whole light section plus the decoration of the house. I did the light section, just need the house. I'm gonna skip over it, go to week 5, and I'll come back to that. I did start week 5, and pretty much what it is you attach the jumper panels and the candy cane swirls squares, and we can start the gingerbread chunk. It's like gingerbread with a white swirl. It'll be pretty much most of the blanket by the end of week 5. It's pretty simple so far. The attaching, it's just a bunch of single crochets. I had left a good enough tail on each light bulb to surface crochet around the edge to clean it up, because I saw somebody do that. But when I did it, I just didn't really like how it looked. So I ended up just cutting it off and weaving it in. And so I had a bunch of scraps left over. And I was thinking of using them as baubles later, but I don't know if it's gonna be weird if they're just random glowing baubles. I don't know if that's gonna look funny. I did try to make a little wreath for my house, and I used a key ring, like a keychain ring, to do the center thing. But I think it's too big. I think it looks too big, which is kind of the reason that I put it on to the side, because I want to deal with it later. But like, it looks fine, but then, you know, once I'm thinking about how I have to string the lights and do the little door and the windows, this just seems too big. I'm getting pretty close to the blanket being done, which is really exciting. I think this week is gonna be one of the most exciting, just because it's actually gonna come together and be one big piece, because I've just had them as little pieces here and there for a while. Looks like with the side pieces. So this is the piece that I finished. So you pretty much just make it in the same way of you single crochet across to make the seam, and that's what it looks like from the back. Pretty much I'm gonna line up these pieces and sew this across like that. I can't really show it to you, but it's pretty much gonna be like that. I'm really excited to see how it looks together as the big square. I just used a hairspray, like water sprayer, to wet it, and I had it pinned on a couple of blocks, and then I let it sit outside to dry. I know the heat is kind of crazy right now, and it dried up in like 5 minutes, maybe even less. It literally dried up so fast, and it did look straighter and like flatter, so that's good. I had played around with the idea of adding a little snowman, and I ended up starting it up, but I don't know if I'll add it just because I think it takes up too much space, And I wanted to add 2 lollipops on each side of the door and then the snowman on the side and a little Christmas tree. And I think it's maybe too many things. Just a little door, and instead of making it a gingerbread cookie door with a little icing like it is in the original, I ended up making it pink with a purple and white stripe around the edge. And then I think I decided that I'm just gonna keep this bow on it. I think it'd be fine, so I'm gonna add that. But the lollipops, I made an orange one and a blue one just because I wanted to add these colors since I hadn't really incorporated them at the time. And then I did make the little snowman to make his little face. After this 4th one, once I finish it all the way around, I attach the cream. I do, I think, 2 rows of cream and then another 4 in the bread color. So I'm kind of short, so I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I hope you can see that because this is what the house looks like. I ended up going with these smaller wreaths and then the pink door and then the little baubles. The little baubles, I did the same glow-in-the-dark yarn just because since they're Christmas lights also, they can glow. I decided not to go with windows just because it's already busy enough, you know? So me personally, I would have just left it at this, but everybody likes the lollipops, so I'm gonna add the lollipop. Okay, so I'm almost done with the gingerbread part of it. It's been taking me a lot of days. I think it's because it's so big, it's so hard to work through it, and it's so repetitive, which I thought would make it easier, but honestly it was just very dreadful. My Christmas SIRDAR blanket and right around the time that I had just gotten surgery, so instead of waiting I ended up just rushing it and trying to finish it, which in hindsight wasn't a good idea because since I had just gotten surgery I couldn't really move around. I thought that I had a little bit too much fabric, so I cut it down. I ended up cutting down too much of the fabric and I messed up my blanket. It's definitely something that I can fix pretty easily. I don't have the time right now to do it. I'll just post this video because the blanket is done. And then for the fabric, I chose little pink candy fabric, which I think matches it really, really well. Since I cut down a lot of the fabric, this one kind of folds over because it's bigger. Whenever I go back to fix it, I'll probably do a round of like single crochets or double crochets on the fabric and then attach it. The blanket is pretty heavy. I used acrylic yarn, which is always heavy, but I think it's good for a blanket because it's obviously meant to keep me warm. Definitely really enjoyed this process and I liked following along everybody else's work on TikTok as well. I thought it was a really fun project, and if you haven't done a SIRDAR blanket, they've done many blankets now. I've seen the spring one, the Halloween one, and I think there's another Christmas one for this year. This was the Christmas blanket from last year, but while I was working on it during Christmas time, I ended up not having enough time. I picked it back up, and that's everything that I have for you guys this week. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye everybody.